I guess satisfying would be the right word. It's just so endearing. It's so like, this is why I do this. This is why I experience this, because I'm able to help someone else. And it doesn't feel like, it's all for nothing. It doesn't feel like, oh, I experienced these hardships and um, these things just for no reason, out of in vain. It's like you did it to be able to help others who are in the same situation. And so, I had a really hard time even like calling myself a healer, because healers don't heal you. You don't just go to a healer and say, I need healing. I mean, some people may do that, but they help you heal yourself. You are at a point where you are ready to clear and complete that energy, that lesson, and move on. And yourself get rid of that darkness and ask for more light to come in, and more blessings and more of the good stuff. And so, yeah, this is kind of how I came to do what I do. And how do I know who I'm channeling? At first, I did not. It took a lot of questions. It took a lot of feeling into my own body, getting energy signatures, getting visuals, getting just learning all the things. Is kind of like learning how to walk, or I don't know. I just computer code. Like I don't know what computer code is, but you look at it from out here and it just looks like a bunch of blah. But when you learn it, it's a process to learn. Once you learn it, you can apply it and not only correct errors, but make new, etc., etc. And that's kind of like what it is. And I only set the intention what is for the highest good. So part of the learning process is getting non-beneficial energies, and what are you going to do with it? How do you clear those? How do you clear your channel? They teach you. Your spirit guides, divine source of all that is, guides you through the whole thing. Yes, you go through a lot of not so great things, but then that's how you learn, right? So it's a lot of mistakes. It's a lot of trial and error. And I wouldn't flippantly just be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna, channel your dead relative for you if they weren't guiding me to do it. And that's why it's like, I'm always asking what is in the highest good. And sometimes that's not in the highest good for you at this point in time. So, yeah, sometimes it is doing, like right now I'm doing timeline work. It sounds so, but going through different versions of yourself, different timelines, and healing timelines, healing inner child healing, past versions of you, future versions of you, rewriting your story. Healing is like such a big, all-encompassing word, because it's not just like physical healing or emotional healing, because we are our mental, our emotional, our physical, our spiritual bodies, and our auras go even out further, and depending on who we are and what our makeup is, what we connect to, what our it's kind of like what our physical bodies need. Everyone's like dietary needs are different, right? Like some people can't eat meat and they're great being vegetarian or vegan, or some people can eat fish, some people are allergic to fish, some people it's like our makeups are all different, but it's all food, right? So everyone needs different food, nutrients, depending on how they were raised, depending on their makeup. And so no healings or no two things look the same. And so it really is such a broad thing to try and explain to someone because I've spoke to someone's higher self and their guides that are, completely non-human. And some are very, old souls. Some are all humans. Some are, and there's just such a vast range. So yeah, how do I know who I'm channeling? It took a lot of practice, and now I'm very confident. And I also go through a whole checklist of things to clear myself before I work with someone. There, I have a process to make sure I'm clear, to make sure this is just, me connecting to you. There's no interference. There's protection. There's nothing else that's being splashed in the mix. So, yeah, I what's the other thing I was going to hit on? I'm sorry. I'm like having a thing right now. You can, I don't want to say you can channel. A lot of times, there are ancestors, gods, goddesses, deities. Occasionally they show up. Sometimes they don't. I think some people get kind of bummed when they don't have like a huge, like if Buddha doesn't come and visit experience. But I think that happens when you're ready. Everything is divine timing. And us humans, we want, words and things to explain things. And sometimes there just isn't a human word yet for what we are describing. And I feel like that's changing, with science and technology that is advancing so fast. They're trying, it's funny that spirituality and science are explaining each other and merging and doing this thing, and they're coming up with new languages and words and terminology to describe what a lot of spiritual people are already been doing. So it's a very exciting time as far as humanity goes. And that's another thing, like perspective is everything, it's like what we think manifests, what we feel manifests, what we can look at the world today and say, oh my God, it's never been this bad. There's this, and this, that's so wrong. And you're right. But we can also look at it and say, wow, we have never been more evolved spiritually as a species. Our consciousness has been growing. Technology, everything's happening at this rapid pace. And we're actually evolving and growing and doing amazing. So, and you're right. So it's kind of like whatever we choose to look at and focus on, we now know with the experiment changes. So let that be a guide to guide you toward the positive. That's not to bypass or say that bad things don't happen, because they do. But as far as you in your reality, in your focus, put it towards the positive. Put it towards the light. Ask for the guidance. Meditate. Go inward. Experience your own being, your own higher self, your own spirit guides. And the more you can do that and connect in that way, it's almost like the light from within just gets brighter, and it's infectious. It spreads to everyone.